Your beloved New York City may well be led by a communist soon, Zohran Mamdani, who in his nomination speech said he will defy ICE and will not allow ICE to arrest criminal aliens in New York City. Your message to communist Zohran Mamdani?
Well, then we'll have to arrest him. Look, we don't need a communist in this country, but if we have one, I'm going to be watching over him very carefully on behalf of the nation.
All right, President Trump says he's going to go after New York City Democratic mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani if he gets elected, and if he then gets in the way of ICE deportations. The 33-year-old socialist officially secured the Democratic Party nomination today, pushing many of his party into further distress. And by party, I mean Democrats, not the party. And it can be confusing these days with someone like Mamdani, an avowed socialist, because there are two competing theories now in the Democratic Party. Half of the party saying they want to be the party of abundance. The abundance term comes from Ezra Klein and Derek Thompson in their book, Abundance. It was written as an answer for the Democratic Party to take on Trump and Republican going forward. And Abundance argues to eliminate things like environmental regulations, strict zoning laws, labor rules, in order to build more housing, lighten energy regulations, and drive down costs. Now, just a few years ago, regulating the environment was supposed to save mankind and solve racism, but evidently that's no longer a priority. The other half of Democrats say, hold my beer. Let's put in rent controls and have government controlled and run grocery stores in New York City, a modern-day Moscow on the Hudson, if you will, but not the movie, the real-life version. With us now, Jehmu Greene, former 2008 Clinton campaign advisor, Doug Schoen, former advisor to President Bill Clinton. Welcome back to both of you.
Thank you.
Doug, I think you are by far the more establishment or representing the establishment wing of the Democratic Party of just about anybody I know. So I'm going to ask this to you.
Sure.
The Democratic establishment folks we talk to all say we've got to get away from the socialist stuff. We've got to get away from the progressive ideology. We've got to get rid of identity politics. And yet the only candidates that are generating real excitement out there are the socialists, Zohran Mamdani being the obvious example. How do you explain that disconnect?
Well, it's the nature of the primary electorate, Leland. The people that are motivated to participate, turn out, get active in campaigns are now typically, on my side of the aisle, the more activist progressives. It remains to be seen in the midterms, which involves swing districts and swing states, whether Democrats can prevail if they have people like the Squad, AOC, and potentially Zohran Mamdani as the poster boys for the party. I think not. I think the party needs to be in the center, as you suggested.
Look, I'm not in the business of giving advice to either political party, but I will echo what I've heard and what my reporting shows. You bring up a good point. Of swing states and swing districts. One of the most effective ads that Donald Trump had was the one that said Kamala Harris is for they, them, Donald Trump is for you. The extreme left as a foil for Donald Trump has proven very effective. He talked about that, went after that again today. Take a listen.
Frankly, I've heard he's a total nutjob. I think the people of New York are crazy. If they go this route, I think they're crazy. We will have a communist for the first time, really, a pure, true communist. He wants to operate the grocery stores, the department stores. What about the people that are there? I think it's crazy.
Jehmu, I know that you think that that's a huge win for Republicans to be able to make Mamdani the poster child of Democratic politics. How do you stop it when he and people like him have so much energy? AOC and Bernie are getting such huge crowds.
Well, it's definitely clear that if President Trump wanted to make a perfect or create a perfect caricature of a Democrat that he could beat up like a piñata, it would be a socialist Muslim who refuses to do something as easy as condemn globalized intifada. And so he now has that perfect caricature of the Democratic Party, that he can, in the way we just heard, very plain speak, the brand. And that's problematic for us. It's also clear that, the American people have just stopped seeing the Democratic Party as delivering for them, even though we are and we have been. Our problem isn't about policy. It isn't about the same faction that was Bernie versus Hillary Clinton, which is now Abundance versus Mamdani. It's about how we communicate what we are delivering to the American people in a way that is clear, in a way that is compelling, in a way that is inspiring. And unfortunately, we keep failing in doing that. We keep failing in communicating how to build a that brings everybody in.
This may be an important question for Doug, because Bill Clinton didn't bring a focus group tested message in 1992. Bill Clinton was the messenger. Do Democrats have to first find the messenger before they can find the message? You hear about this new thing, Project 2029. The New York Times has a big piece out about it, of writing the blueprint. How do you write a blueprint without the candidate? You think about the people who've won in the past: Trump, Obama, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, transformational candidate, Clinton, Obama, Trump. All it was the messenger that then morphed into the message, not the other way around.
Well, and Leland, to your point, we don't have a messenger now. There's no clear front runner. The Emerson poll out this week shows that Kamala Harris is actually trailing Pete Buttigieg. They're all, below 20%. AOC is at 7 or 8%. So we're a divided party, as Jehmu suggests, ideologically, but also in terms of personalities. And I frankly think that coming out with a detailed policy prescription first of the type that the Republicans did with Project 2025 is a bad idea.
Wow. Well, I have a hard time disagreeing with you. I would argue you guys do have a front man and a front lady, which would be Zohran Mamdani, Bernie, and AOC. But that's a discussion for the next time. Doug, Jehmu, awesome conversation. Thank you both.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.